What up, Chatterbox and Fair Trade Cafe. My name's Estevan. I'm one of the hosts here of Chatterbox. You'll meet the OG host here in just a minute. This is really exciting. The mic is far away. I don't have to hold it. You can hear me. It's great. Couple of things. So our mic has a very short cord this evening, so try to leave it on the stand. As you see, I'm a pretty tall dude. You can hear me just fine, just standing normal. So Chatterbox, we're an open mic storytelling night. Stories are about 6 to 8 minutes long. About the 6-minute mark, you'll see either Jessie or myself in one of these two chairs holding up a number 2. That's just kind of get you to wrap it up. Try not to go over 8 minutes, although I haven't had anybody test me on it yet. We do bounce after 8 minutes. I usually try to point out one of the rules and guidelines that we have. Mostly they're just guidelines, but really, guys, don't come up here and be a racist. I stress this point. It's been ignored a couple of times. Just a couple, but still enough. Come on. All right. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get the night rolling. Tonight's theme is Secret Weapon. I can't read that far. Tonight's theme is Secret Weapon, and we're going to go ahead and get it kicked off right now with a regular to the stage. Please help me welcome Peter.
Hey, Chatterbox. Aw, shit. Stepping our game up, dude. I promise you I will not move from this spot, okay? Okay, cool, dude. I like your flexibility. Appreciate it. How y'all doing? You guys doing okay? Cool. Woo! Lots of energy in the room. It's beautiful. Tonight's theme is Secret Weapon. Growing up, my family's secret weapon was to be bilingual. My first language was Spanish, so we know when people are talking shit. We know. But just like any other secret weapon, or like any other sword, you can fall on it and hurt yourself. So this is a story about how our secret weapon got my mother and all of us in trouble at church. So my mom now is a God-fearing woman, right? She is a nice lady, respectable woman. She turned her life around, but when I was younger, she was a lot different. And people have to grow as they age. So now she's, God-fearing, doesn't drink, doesn't do any drugs. But growing up, there was a lot of that in the house, a lot of illegal activity growing up. And it came to a point where she had 3 children, and she wanted to find God all of a sudden. So we started going to different temples, anywhere that there was a religion, mosques, churches, under a tree where they were preaching, we'd go sit and listen. My mom was trying to find answers to life. And really just trying to find purpose is what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to put the pieces together and figure this bullshit out. So we ended up going to St. Catherine's, which is in South Phoenix where I grew up. It's right on Central and St. Catherine, but it's close like Central and Southern area. Very colorful area, very interesting, very diverse. That wasn't a racist thing. I know you said don't be a racist, so okay, cool. It's a different world from this area. And we went to St. Catherine's where it was all Spanish-speaking, right? I don't look like I speak Spanish. I don't look Hispanic. My mom doesn't either. She's from Maine, so looks really white, almost Canadian. So we're sitting there. This is a pretty short... I feel like I've shared this story before. I don't know if I have, but... So we went there a couple times, and we didn't have very much money. And they passed a collection plate around every single time. We did not put into the collection plate just because of our lack of funds, whatever, And one day it was my mom, me, and then my 2 brothers on the other side of my mom because she had to separate us because we like to fuck around. And they passed the collection plate around, and we don't put any money in. And the lady next to me in Spanish says, they only come here for the free cranberry juice and air conditioning. So I look at my mom, I look up at her, and she does the eagle claw, like when you just do something bad and your mom doesn't want you to say anything, she like squeezes like the shit out of your thigh. And then like it turns into a raptor, like you do this thing, like, oh, like it turns into a raptor. So she did one of those. She said, don't say anything. And I can feel my mom steaming because my mom isn't good at hiding her anger. So We go through the whole thing. We go through communion, right? We have to go get the bread, which is the body of Christ, and wine, which is the blood of Christ, in case you didn't know. We're doing that thing. We're going up there. They give it to us. They give it to my mom. And my mom starts saying shit to the lady in front of her as we're walking through the church to leave. And the lady said something like, said something smart back to my mom, and my mom just stayed quiet. And I was like 9 years old at the time. Anyway, we're leaving. We're walking through the church doors, the entrance, and as we're not even a foot outside, my mom just got her first 2 feet out of the church, grabs the lady by the back of her hair, and yanks her down, and proceeds to beat the snot out of her after Sunday service in front of everybody. And yeah, mom's down. Mom is down as fuck, and She's beating the tar out of this lady. I don't know what to do. My brother's 2, so I pick up my brother. My other brother's 4 or 5. I don't know what to do. We're just watching my mom do work. Quick work too. It was quick work. It wasn't even a thing. And she just kept hitting her. And my dad shows up in his pickup truck, driving with a beer in his hand, and says, he yells at me to get into the truck and throw my brother. So I'm throwing my brothers into the truck, and I'm yelling for my mom. Mom, let's go, Dad's here. I'm throwing my brothers into the truck, I'm throwing them into the truck. My mom jumps in, and as she's leaving, my mom is from Maine, okay? She's white as fuck. She's closing the door as this lady's getting up and composing herself. She yells at this lady from 40 yards away, "Chinga tu madre, puta." And from a lady this lady is stark white. Like I said, any whiter, she'd be Canadian. And that whole parking lot was shook. They were like, what the fuck just happened? So yeah, that's my secret weapon, speaking both languages. Thank you.
Guys, keep it going for Pete. I appreciate that. Your secret skills. I think that's funny too. And like, people shouldn't assume that you don't know the language or you don't know what's going on just by how you look. That is a very ignorant mistake to make, I think. All right, guys, just a couple more thank yous and shout outs before we get the rest of our show going. By the way, I'm Jessie. I'm the other host of the show. Just a thing. We have shout out to Fair Trade Cafe for having our show here. We also have our podcast being recorded tonight. So if you're like just hanging out and you just found out about this show, check out our podcast. We've got 35-ish episodes up of awesome, lovely storytellers. Some of them are here tonight also telling, so check that out. Great stories, lots of fun, different themes. But we will have all those up. We'll have this one up as well. And Jared is here with Hoot and Waddle to sell some awesome books, poetry and nonfiction, some fiction, all of those things. Really awesome. He's selling those here, so take a look. I just got Post Traumatic. It's one of the newer ones that they just published, and it's really cool. So come take a look at those after the show. He'll be selling those things. He does take card or cash. Yeah, those are all the announcements I have. Our next storyteller has been a regular to this show and a good friend. Put your hands together for Tony.
Hi, friends. My name is Tony, a.k.a. Jackie. So this story is going to come with a trigger warning because we're going to get real heavy real fast. Cool? So the story contains heavy themes, including severe mental illness, also suicidal ideation. Okay? You have been warned. That is your trigger warning. I know I always appreciate those when I am listening to stories and I'm like, oh, this got real heavy. Oh, God. So I figured I would reach out and give the same to you guys. My secret weapon is that I want to die all the time, always. Always. Always have since I was a child. My mom, growing up, my mom is a 5'4", curly blonde hair, looks and sounds like she's straight out of the Midwest, has never stepped a foot in the Midwest a day in her life. But she talks like this. And recently I was having a conversation with her over dinner, and she goes, Jackie, you were always the most melancholic child I have ever met. And I look at her and I go, Ma, that's a pretty big $5 word. Proud of you. However, it's always been true. I was always a very sad, serious child, which is weird because I also tend to overconsume caffeine at a quantity that is unhealthy for any person at any age. And so I've always had a lot of energy. And I've always been able to be very cheerful. But I am like the Hulk. And underneath all of that, it's always been my secret weapon. And instead of being always angry, I'm always sad. Always. It doesn't matter. On the best days of my life, I have been sad. And that is a thing that I have just accepted as a part of myself. I have gone through 8 bajillion years and dollars worth of therapy. And for me, it has been a thing that I have chosen to use. If I want to die all the time, every day, that means that it can happen any day. And I don't have to be the one that's in charge of that. And that is the approach that I have taken as an adult. So if I want to die every day, I'm going to live every day as if I potentially could die tomorrow. This has led to a complete lack of fiscal understanding, and I do not have a savings account to save my life. It's fine. I have $25 in a savings account, and I'm very proud of myself. I am 30. However, this has led to some of the most ridiculous experiences to ever exist. When given the opportunity to pick up everything I own, put it in a car, and go across the country by myself 2.5 years ago, I took that opportunity. When given the opportunity to work a job that allows me to travel and also be ridiculous and get paid for it, I took that opportunity. It also has given me the opportunity to not care when absurd things happen in my life. I have a very aggressive sense of detachment from my own existence in a way. So very small, fun story. On Wednesday, last week, y'all were here. I was in tears in Captain Marvel. Why was I in tears, you ask? I'll answer you, imaginary other half of this conversation. If you buy a wallet from Goodwill because you're going to dress up like Elsa from Frozen to go to Disneyland, check all the pockets in that wallet. Particularly if you buy it from Goodwill on a Monday morning before you have to drive to LA, and you buy it in cash because it's $3 and you don't get a receipt because it's freaking Goodwill. Check all the pockets of that wallet because there might be meth in it. I know. That reaction, that's what I live for these days. Yeah, there might be meth in it. And you may find that out in Disneyland security. Yeah. My life is an absurdist film, kids. I buy a wallet from Goodwill because I'm going to dress up like Elsa, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to be adorable. Turns out, what is Elsa's castle really made out of? Meth! It's made out of meth. I'm going to be dealing meth to 6-year-olds in Disneyland. Like, what? I was wearing a flower crown and everything. So suffice it to say, I had a temporary ban for the day from the park because from their perspective, I tried to bring meth there. Oh, yes. And I also have a fun court date in April for my possession of a controlled substance charge. Remember, kids, I have $25 in my savings account. It's fine. However, the entire experience, the minute I left, I was like, you know what? If I ever do stand-up and I ever get my own Netflix special, I'm going to entitle it Ice Queen. And that's going to be great. Because my life is just an absurdist film. But you can survive anything, when every day you're sad anyway. And you can find the humor and the joy and the ridiculous amount of comedic value in a secondhand meth wallet. Because that's my superpower. Because I want to die all the time anyway, and I am always sad. Everything is ridiculous, and everything can cause joy. Because when you have that as your baseline, all you can do is go up. My name is Tony, and that's my story.